Slides were taken as a record of how a decision was made to build the temple where it is now located. This narrative is being made by Charles and Elizabeth Tucker on June the 9th, 1995, in order that it can be made into a video tape. This first slide is one that was taken of the Masonic Temple in the old Miller building, which was sold to the city 9/30/60. This building was originally same location, but the ground floor was sold for air rights, and the building then moved to the third floor. The only trouble with this is that we was responsible for the roof, and when they come along there and tore out the Miller building or ceased to exist, we couldn't get heat up to the third floor. And after it snowed a lot of times, a bunch of us had to go up there and scoop the snow off from the roof. This slide is a picture when they started to demolish the building. The rest of the building had been torn down, but this part is when they started to demolish the lodge hall itself. You can notice a crane there, and this crane was used to lift the safe down from there, and then was taken out to our new location. This is the place that we moved to. The old Oddfellows Rebecca's Hall at 6th and Jackson Street. We moved there in 5/61. We looked around at several locations in town, and this was the only suitable one that we could find. It was on the third floor, it was heated by coal stoves, and not in too good a condition. We agreed to pay the light bill and the heat bill if they would let us move in with them. And we carried the coal up 3 flights of stairs and put it in the coal bin there. This is the Masonic Temple at Pimento, Indiana. Several of us went over there. They had just built it, and it was about the size that we was looking for. It's made out of limestone. This is another view of the front of it. Pimento, Indiana is located south and east of Terre Haute. This is the Masonic Temple at Nashville, Indiana. This was another one that had been recently built, so we went over there to look at that. This is another view of that temple. This is the inside view of the temple at Nashville, Indiana. This is another inside view of the lodge hall. The temple there at Nashville, Indiana, a fellow in town here, Frank Cava, told us about it, and he went over with us and went around through it to see. And when we started to take up donations, he was a liberal contributor to the building. This next slide is one possible site at the northwest corner of 13th and Jefferson. This was one that we understood that was available. An old 2-story house there. It could be tore down, but one of the reasons again this is where are you going to describe to people coming to town how to get to 13th and Jefferson. This is another location, number 2, and it's the 2nd Street and Taylor or Tyler Street. The third slide is the University and Lincoln. Now this is an old house out there that we could buy. It was a 2-story house, and I don't remember now what the cost of it was. This is the one at the corner of Reynolds and Lincoln. It's just a vacant lot there. 5 is the southeast corner of Polk and Division. This had been vacant for a long time. It consists of 2 or 3 lots there. Now there's houses on it. But we didn't feel like there would be parking only in the street time we got the building done. This is the present location, number 6, at 651 West Lincoln. There was nothing but a briar patch out there and some trees, and this lot was purchased 8/11/61. Number 7 is 2nd and Pierce, another vacant lot. We had a fundraising dinner, which was held 3/8/1962. Now this is a sign at the new site. Holding the sign is Charles and Pat Tucker. This is another picture of the sign. This was a group that gathered out there when we got the sign up that day. I believe it was long in the fall, and it was a little sort of cool. We're digging footings out there, and it began April the 10th, 1963. This is sort of digging the basement. Another picture there, looking north there, I believe, from the entranceway to it. This is more or less the east boundary line there. You can see the transit all set up, and the bulldozer down there. Got pretty muddy at times. We're now pouring some concrete in the footings. Well, this is water and mud This is what happens after a rain. We had some of the blocks packed down in there, sand and everything, but when it comes along with big rain like that, I didn't know whether we'd ever get it finished or not. This is blocks, mud, and water once again. We're now pouring the basement floor, finishing the basement floor. You can see that there's several people down in there. Those little things in the center are where the posts set to hold up the second floor. This is putting up the walls. This is Walt Warmoth. He is the one in the white shirt. You can see the brick stacked there, and the wall. The other thing is this is where more or less the first ground floor going up. This is the joist and the plywood and everything which forms the first floor. This is the metal ceiling joists that are stacked out there in the grass. This is looking up from the basement. You can see the joists across there, and they make a pattern on the floor. This is the west wall, which has got up pretty well there. Some of the plywood out there, I don't know whether some of you remember, but we lost some of the plywood. Somebody came and stole it one night, and everybody was out looking for it, and we finally found it. This is the ceiling joists are up. You can see the pattern on one of the walls there. Job's wanted to help us out. They had a snow cone thing at the fair, and they did their part in helping us raise money. This is a couple of the Job's daughters there. The one on the right is Linda Childers. Well, we're almost finished. You can see the front doors haven't got in or anything there, but this is the way it looked out there. We had a hog roast. Dutch Williams had made a thing. We had to make money, and we had it on October 1963. The Jobs had it. This was another one of their money-raising things. Carrying in the hog. This is a big event. We got the hog roasted, and we was taking it inside, and we had some horses. We was cutting up the hog for everybody to enjoy. This is the fire that started the old Oddfellows building in December of '63. This is some of the smoke and everything there. It started during the day. This is another view looking from the square, I believe in the northwest corner of the square down to it. This is the next morning. You can see it's been pretty well gutted. This is the north wall there. It was really cold that morning, and you can see how the ice formed on the building. This is more or less the front of it there. There was a barber shop down below and doctor's offices on the second floor. This is the northeast corner of the building. This is a view taken from the west. You can see where you look through it there in the back part of the building. This is the new Masonic Lodge and building out there. The first meeting was held January 1964. This is a bouquet on dedication day, July the 12th, 1964. This is Past Master Don Jenkins, and I think one of the grand officers standing outside the door. This is inside the lobby, and you'll know the person there is Harry Files, and the far left is Bob Brown, Past Master. This is a bunch of fellows there in the lobby. To the far right is Art Wiseman. The next one, it looks like Bud Brower. The next one is Bob Bird, and the next one is Jim Swan. This is inside the lodge room. This is the dining room downstairs. Looks pretty good, don't it? Another picture of the dining room. This is Bob Bird, the master when we dedicated it, shaking hands with past Grandmaster Sante. Well, that's all, folks.